Town Branch Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Coming straight out of the great state of Kentucky. There you go. Thank you. It says it retails for roughly $42. It's a Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 45% alcohol, so that puts us right at 90 proof. And the notes here says the color is reddish copper. Definitely copper. Definitely copper. I wouldn't say it's reddish, but it's copper. It's kind of golden, not as golden.
I was going to say not as golden as the last one.
Not as golden as the Iron Smoke Straight Bourbon Whiskey, but still looks good. It's got legs. The smell, what's that on the nose? Is that some of that medicine-y smell?
I'm not getting that.
No? Something funky.
I'm definitely getting some oak. Maybe a toffee.
Yeah, the toffee is on the back end of the nose. But yeah, it says oaky nose with hints of caramel and toffee. Yeah, so the more I smell it, the more that initial smell goes away. I don't know what my olfactories are doing to me today.
I feel like the toffee is a lot stronger on this one than the caramel.
Yeah, sometimes you get a full nose of caramel and vanilla, but this one, it's caramel's there, but the toffee's forward on that. I really like it, the smell of it.
And this is Town Branch, which is a Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
Yeah.
And retails for $42. I think you said that. This is also another one that is no age statement provided.
Yeah, so it's a
blend of...
It's a blend of probably multiple years.
And we got 45%, 90 proof.
Yeah. There's a lot of oak on the tongue at first. Mm-hmm. But afterwards, what is that? The notes say flavors of caramel, toffee, and brown sugar are balanced with a touch of spice.
I don't know if funky is the right word, but there's something that's...
Yeah.
I don't
it
know.
kind of tilts your head like a confused dog. Like, it's like, you know how rye has a very distinct spice flavor to it. This isn't rye, but whatever's in here, it's not hops, it's not corn, it's not, I don't know what that is, but
I don't know.
It's very distinct.
I remember that Limavady Irish whiskey had something that was different about it, which Mitch did not like at all.
Right.
First pour.
Oh, yeah, but later on.
His second, third, fourth, 10th pour, that bottle disappeared quickly after we left.
Right.
But, yeah, this has something that's...
Yeah, I can't put my finger on that.
It's not quite a black licorice, but it's something similar to that to me.
Huh. I mean, all it says here is caramel, toffee, brown sugar, a touch of spice.
With the finish being long and smooth finish with lingering sweetness and warmness. That is weird.
It's almost like leather. But this is, brown sugar, spicy, malted barley. Maybe that's what it is. It's also got a little bit of rye, some sweet, some toffee, vanilla, oak, and a big old hit of caramel on it as far as this tasting note coaster goes. Yeah, maybe that's the malted barley that's hitting us with that funky kind of flavor profile that you don't even pick up on the nose. It doesn't hit you until you taste it. It's like first it comes in and it punches you in the mouth with the oak, but then right after that I'm guessing is the malted barley. It comes back and it sticks with you. And at what is it, 90 proof?
Yeah,
it's not too hot. The heat dissipates quick.
So this says we've got 72% corn, 15% malted rye, and 13% malted barley. It's matured in oak casks, charred level 5. I'm not sure what that means.
I don't either.
Anyone out there know anything about the char levels for casks? Shoot us an email.
Yeah.
Leave us a voicemail message.
Yeah, give us a little info, little knowledge.
Its color is wonderfully reddish, and its character is complex. Yeah, it's got us stumped.
Right.
Oaky nose transitions into spicy sweet palate and a long warming finish. It's a perfect choice for a quick mint julep and works well neat or on the rocks.
Maybe the mix of malted barley and rye gives it this kind of unique off toffee kind of flavor. Because I don't know that I've had a rye whiskey with malted barley also.
I'm now getting... It says that it has a long finish, and
it does.
And yeah, the finish is still going on there. and I'm now picking up a little bit of corn.
Okay, and it's warm. It's got like a comforting kind of warm feel to it. You know, like you're snuggled up next to the fire reading a book, and you've got your glass of bourbon sipping on it. You feel warm and cozy, safe in your cottage. But yeah, it's not too bad at all. It's different for sure. I mean, we start this podcast in hopes of trying new whiskeys and bourbons and, you know, other spirits of that nature, and describing what it tastes like. Maybe, you know, talk it up to give a recommendation of some kind. But sometimes we get stumped, and this time we are just plain stumped. I remember one time we got stumped on it was like sourdough.
Yeah.
I was like, this is familiar. It's really good. I like it, but what the hell is that? And then we went to the notes. Oh, yeah, it's sourdough. There it is. But this, even with the notes, I'm stumped.
And the thing is with this, you know, not all of them are going to be out of the ballpark. Not all of them are going to be 9s and 10s.
Yeah. What do they put in gin? What's like the main flavor in gin? Is it...
I'm the wrong person to ask that.
Is it some kind of like evergreen fruit? What are those little things? The little berries? Damn it. Those little blue berries that you'll see on some evergreen trees.
I don't know.
Because maybe that's kind of what I'm tasting here. Stupid Google. I'll type in the color. It brought up a whole bunch of red ones. Juniper.
Okay.
All right. So, feck. All right. So we got maybe... I don't know. I don't even know if juniper's the right flavor to throw at this. It's probably... The malted barley is probably throwing me off, mixed with the rye. And maybe whatever else is in their little spice blend that they put in these things.
Yeah.
But the brown sugar, I'm not exactly picking up on. The toffee, definitely on the nose. But the in the mouth, not so much.
You know, based off of our previous couple, sadly, I think I'm gonna be kind and go with a 5.
A 5. I was thinking maybe a 5, maybe a 6 out of 10. But with the complexity and the uniqueness of these flavors, really makes you think this would be great in a very specific cocktail. I don't know what.
Well, and that's the thing too is
it said something about a mint julep.
Yeah,
I think mint would pair great with this, or spearmint would pair great with this.
You have those whiskeys in your cabinet that are fantastic by themselves.
Yeah.
And you don't need or would want to mix them in a cocktail. And then you have those other ones that are fantastic as a cocktail.
Yeah.
But they're not that great by themselves.
Yeah. For me, dear listener, it definitely fits in that category of one. When I say it, we're tasting the Town Branch Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. But I know for a fact, if it was sitting next to the $49 bottle of Iron Smoke Straight Bourbon Whiskey,
oh man,
I would reach right past this Town Branch Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
$7 more.
It's $7 more, and you're getting way more bang for your buck, because that stuff is it's unfair to compare.
Yeah,
to compares to be unfair. But if I had my druthers, I'd rather have that one over this one. But like we said, this one more than likely would be great in a cocktail. And it looks like this distillery is also a brewery, and they create ales, stouts, gins, whiskeys, ryes, and bourbons. They ferment mash bills in cypress wood containers. Cypress. Maybe that's what this flavor is.
Well, yeah, you talked about the juniper berries, but maybe more of a cypress.
They ferment mash bills in cypress wood containers while trusting the distillation to 2 large copper pot stills from Scotland. It is said that in every spirit there's a bit of Gaelic soul. So, okay, maybe that'll help clear up some of the confusion I was getting, because something about it was kind of evergreen. Mm-hmm. Something about it was really drawing me to that. Well, really, it's like the smell amplified is the taste, right? So like the taste was like a super amplified smell that was drawing me back to something that I had smelled before, and I was just really confused. But yeah, I would be.
This also talks about that Town Branch brand bets on its limestone-rich water source and local grains.
Limestone can affect the taste of water.
So maybe that is part of it. It's the limestone water of the area.
Yeah. And like you said, char level 5, we don't know what that means. It could mean 5, millimeters deep into the wood of the cask and into the barrel. We don't know. But who knows? Who knows what that means? We'll have to put that on our list of homework. I am sadly way behind on all of my homework.
We're getting a lot of homework out of these podcasts.
Yeah, maybe we'll outsource the homework. We'll find an intern somewhere. Like, what's little man doing besides sleeping and eating everything in the house and watching cat cartoons? Oaky nose transitions into spicy sweet palate and long warm finish. Perfect choice for quick make. Jill, you already read all this. We'll just delete that. Oh. So I would agree. I'd put it in the mid range as a neat. We don't necessarily try things on the rocks on this podcast, which is fine. It's not even a moot point to argue, but we always try them neat to see what each individual spirit has to offer. We try not to compare to other ones that we have tried. We just try to evaluate it for itself and it alone. We both agree on this Town Branch Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. We'd throw it right there in the middle. Yeah. A solid 5 or maybe a 5.5, 6 for me. It might be like if you go to somebody's house and they have it in their bar, you might ask them why they have it, or maybe not why they have it. Might sound a little accusatory, but like maybe
why did you buy this?
Why do you have that? Ugh. What is wrong with you, you mutant? No, but maybe they have it because they love it with like it suggests here some kind of mint julep, or they like it in some other form or fashion in another cocktail. Maybe it's great over ice. Who knows? But like you said, unfortunately, all we have is the taster for these from the Flavier.com sampler set. Definitely glad that we got to try it because it is very unique.
Yeah.
If you're looking for, so I guess if you're looking for a very unique tasting whiskey that could be versatile and plenty of cocktail recipes, something that might have a mysterious evergreen, cypress, juniper kind of silky shadow dragging behind it, you might try this and see what all you can come up with. Mr. W2, do you have any closing notes on what you think about this?
I'm a bit bummed that we just have the limited taster of this one, as we've kind of talked through and read through all this and it's going, I love mint juleps.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic.
Yeah, this could be one of those whiskeys where, you get a taste of it, you're like, I'm not so sure about it, but like if you had a full bottle, you and I could get about halfway through it and really start pulling it apart and really start getting to know it and completely different thoughts about it.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. And that's kind of what, like we had talked about before, it's kind of what this podcast is about. Unfortunately, on that side of this thick nickel that we're riding the edge of, we only get the introduction. We only get the taste of some of these guys from Flavier.com in these taste tester bottles. On the flip side of that nickel, we had the opportunity to try these things. Like we had said before, maybe we would have just reached right past and grabbed something complete, something that we know we like. I really like investigating things that we don't know that we like. Because it's like the old saying goes, every friend was once a stranger. And even older saying in my life, don't talk to strangers. Well, sometimes I'm a little born with the gift of gab and I can't just not talk to strangers, but that's probably another story for another time. But it looks like we are going to try the Noble Oak Double Oak Bourbon Whiskey from the great state of Ohio. Retails for roughly $40, and this one's pretty popular in the Wilkes residence.
Not the state that I think of first when I think of good bourbons.
I don't either. My brain goes straight
Ohio.
to like Canton, Ohio, land of Marilyn Manson, or Cleveland, Ohio, where we find in the suburbs of we find one of my favorite bands, Chimera, which is where I'm going to be. Our drummer Brandon has a a grad party coming up on one of the Fridays in like the 12th or something like that in May, but I won't be there for that because I'll be on a plane to Cleveland to go see Chimera do their Impossibility of Reason in its entirety. They're just doing 2 shows, Friday night, Saturday night. We're going to be there for Saturday.
Very cool.
My friend Zach and his cousin, we're all going to go out there and jam out with our clam out. We're going to go try to find the best crab rangoon we can find because I'm a slut for crab rangoon, and so is Zach.
That's good stuff.
That's what I think of when I think of Ohio.
Well, this is Noble Oak.
Noble Oak.
From the state of Ohio. Let's see. Does it say town called Newton?
Newton.
And a lot of the tastings that we've done have been from a variety of different tasting boxes that I've gotten from my subscription on flavor.com, which is great because like we've talked about, we get to try a wide variety of things that chances are normally we wouldn't get a chance to or would be able to find. This particular one is one that came in a tasting box that I actually had not opened yet. But it's also one that, I talked about every quarter. I get a tasting box and I also get a full bottle. And so the way they work the full bottles is they give you about a dozen and a half options so you can kind of go through and it's a variety of things. So it's bourbons, it's ryes, it's tequilas, it's
rum and Japanese whiskeys.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. And all their stuff of it has ratings on there. So a lot of times I like to kind of flip through. I'm specifically looking at the whiskeys and the scotches on there, but I'm looking at the ratings too to kind of decide what I want. And this is one that had a pretty decent rating on there, and I'm a fan of the double oaks. Woodford Reserve has a fantastic double oaked that I just absolutely love. And so I saw this one. This is the Noble Oak double oak bourbon, and I picked up the full bottle of this one, and I haven't really had it that long,
but got about a third of it left.
Yep. It's definitely not hated it.
I don't hate it. Well, it's got a nice amber glow to it.
And this is another one that's 90 proof.
Kind of a golden amber. 90 proof.
The maturation is in American white oak barrels and Spanish sherry oak staves.
Huh. Spanish. Well, on the nose, it's caramely, it's vanilla-y, it's oaky. Everything a bourbon should be. The color is, in this light, it looks kind of golden amber. Mm-hmm. I guess it says that here in the notes too. The color is amber. Oh, here on in the nose notes, roasted corn, herbs and spices, wood, and ginger on the nose. Now, ginger,
yeah,
I'm familiar with it, but not enough to be able to smell it in a leggy bourbon.
And I was getting ready to say, maybe it's power of suggestion, but as you were reading that, I was like, okay.
You smell the corn?
The ginger.
The ginger?
I definitely can smell the corn.
Yeah, ginger's kind of tricky with me. Like pickled ginger, it's way different than, I guess anything pickled is way different than it is raw. Raw ginger is just like, holy hell. But I love it in tea. We've talked about our love of teas. It's really good. I do like it pickled with sushi.
I love the pickled ginger that comes with sushi.
Not a fan of wasabi at all.
Yep.
It's way too hot for me.
It's meant as a palate cleanser, but
boy, I'll say
I love just eating the little slivers of ginger.
Yeah, they're sweet and they're kind of tangy and maybe a little spicy, but they're really good. That's really good on the nose.
Pour that on back.
It's a little hot on the mouth. Ooh, it's got a couple different slaps it'll leave you with the flavors. First off, it was a little bit of oak, kind of like a kind of dry kind of oak, and then it came in with the caramel, and then there's another taste. That's got to be the ginger. Does it say?
Well, it starts off talking about a lot of bourbons, caramel, toffee, vanilla.
Yeah.
This one actually describes it as warm vanilla, and so there's a little bit of that heat.
Okay, second taste is not as hot, but the vanilla's there. Oh, this says hints of leather. Huh? Maybe I don't know. I thought I'd tasted some leather off of one of the other ones, but I didn't see it in the notes. But come to find out, I was just confused on what it was I was tasting. I'm not picking up on the dark chocolate. Maybe some of the sweetness on the back end of it, right before the finish. It does have a sweet caramel finish, but maybe right before that comes in, maybe what I'm tasting is that the sherry oak.
You know, I talked about the Woodford Reserve Double Oak earlier. That one has a very heavy dark chocolate notes to it, and I think much more than this one does.
What can you tell me about sherry?
Sherry is sweet. You know, sherry casks is what they use to blend and make Kansas City style whiskey.
Okay.
That 2% blend is typically a sherry cask. I believe you can also use a port cask, but I know that West Bottoms and Rieger both use a sherry cask or a sherry blend for that extra 2% to make the Kansas City style whiskey.
Yeah, so this is close to a Kansas City style whiskey just on that, because it's got the vanilla, it's got the caramel, but it's also got the sherry. But it doesn't have some of the other stuff. I'm still trying to pick up on the roasted corn, and I'm just not picking up on it. I'm not picking up on anything, corny.
And there it is.
It worked when I was
twist.
Twist. Yeah, it's definitely got a clean, dry oak flavor to it, but it follows up quick with the vanilla and kind of that sweetness that I'm sure is the sherry oak. Yeah, this is a very good bar. I can definitely tell why you like it so much. Do you like this neat on the rock? What in a cocktail? What's your favorite way of trying this?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure that this entire bottle so far, I have just had it neat.
Just had it neat.
Yeah, I don't think
What do you do when you're drinking? You're not just standing there at your bar gazing lovingly at the label. What kind of activities do you do?
Sitting in front of the TV.
Yeah. Watch the evening news.
Listening to music. Yeah, movie.
I feel like this would be a great whiskey to write music to.
Yeah.
Or with as a companion, because you get the maybe not so much the blackened Metallica vibrations in the air, but like this could be yeah, and this could be you could definitely write some groove with this bourbon whiskey.
Definitely.
Yeah, neat on the rocks. Probably not in a cocktail. I noticed that some things don't really translate well in a cocktail. Like we had talked about the Kansas City whiskeys, like the West Bottom Whiskey Company. Their whiskey I tried in a whiskey sour, but part of that I believe was my fault because I messed up and I used the recipe proportions for the Scotch sour, which was way too much of everything. But even then, I could tell that the West Bottoms whiskey offering that I have, it would not work that well in a whiskey sour. I don't think it would. Maybe it would work great in an old fashioned.
Yeah,
but not so much with anything involving maple syrup.
Makes it too sweet.
Yeah. I think this would be great in an old fashioned or.
I agree.
Just something simple, maybe on the rocks if you like your whiskey on the rock, your bourbon on the rocks.
Well, you commented on a little bit of that heat up front.
Yeah.
This might be something that, you drop an ice cube or two in there.
Yeah.
Cut a little bit of that heat, and maybe some of those other flavors kind of will come through a little bit stronger.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I read in one of the reviews for this how the hint of leather didn't show up until the reviewer was like maybe a third of the way into the bottle. So it shows me that there are people out there like us that will get a bottle and they won't just immediately pass judgment on it. Even with our current rating system, 1 to 10, we still leave the door open for whatever it is that we're tasting, whatever it is that we're trying out. We don't want to put a solid judgment on it just on on a tester bottle's half a tester bottle's worth of whiskey. So it warms the heart to see that there are people out there that think this way, that they don't want to, for lack of a better term, condemn somebody's work without giving it as much of a chance as they can.
Don't one and done the bottle.
Right. Definitely not. Definitely not. And on that one that we tried before, the one that was so damn confusing, the Town Branch Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey that we tried, it was something that we had talked about. Like maybe if we got halfway through the bottle, we would fully understand what this whiskey's all about. Or if we got it into a few cocktails, which it tasted like it would probably work great in a mint julep, like you had talked about.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing about this, unlike some of the other ones where we just had just a sampler, we've got a little bit of the bottle left. So So down the road, if we want to come back and revisit it, we can revisit it in something else. So maybe, we'll try a few things, we'll talk about it or whatever, and kind of land on what we feel that it would pair well with, and try this as a new cocktail.
Yeah, I think it'd be great in a cocktail, a simple cocktail. Mm-hmm. Nothing with a bunch of ingredients. It's so sweet, I wouldn't suggest putting any honey or simple syrup or maple syrup into it. Just leave it as is. I don't know, other than the like a dehydrated orange, I wouldn't suggest putting a squeeze or a twist of anything into it. So I don't know, maybe
a splash of bitters.
A splash of bitters.
Those chocolate bitters.
Chocolate bitters.
With
I bet
an
that
orange
would
slice.
Be perfect with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you let the orange slice soak up some of this Noble Oak Double Oak bourbon whiskey. And at $40 a bottle, come on. Like this is really, really good for a $40 bottle. And it's 45% alcohol, like we said, 90 proof. So it's not overpowering like some of them can be. This is not bad at all. I can definitely see why it's one of the Wilkes family favorites.
Going back a couple tastings, that Iron Smoke, I gave an 8.
An 8?
I'm going to give this one an 8.5.
I'd agree with you. Usually we don't agree. I'm usually, happy-go-lucky Mr. Chipper throwing a higher score than you do. But this one, it hits on all 3 points, on nose, mouth, and finish. It smells wonderful. It tastes better. It tastes different than it smells, but it tastes better than it smells. And the finish, like it says, sweet caramel finish. I love caramel and I love sweet. I just ate some honeycomb yesterday, and like when I'm craving sweets and like I'm on a paleo diet, when I'm craving sweets, really kind of the only thing I really give myself is honey or honeycomb.
And when you say honeycomb, you're not talking about the cereal.
Absolutely not. No, hell no. Get that abomination out of my house.
To clarify that.
I will eat it, but it's definitely not what I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about like.
Do they still make honeycomb? I grew up on honeycomb.
I would hope they do, because it wasn't bad. I called it an abomination a second ago. It is definitely not. It's a fun, sugary, not super sugary, sweet, delicious breakfast cereal if you can find it in your grocers. This is really good. But yeah, sometimes when I get a little scoop of honeycomb out of whatever container I buy it in, it hits me so hard with that dopamine, I kind of black out for a second. It's really weird. Like I'll get weak in the knees sometimes. But so that's just a little extrapolation on my love for sweet things. But yeah, this hits me perfect. Not super hard in the sweet tooth, but it's definitely noticeable. If you're familiar with the way bourbons can be sweet, this is definitely on the sweeter side, and I would definitely try this again at a solid 8.5. Is that where you put it? 8.5?
8.5, yeah.
Yeah.
I will be trying this one again.
Of course you will, as you have before. Have you tried it in a cocktail before?
Nope.
You have not.
I've finished.
Is this the only bottle that you've had?
It's the only bottle I've had. I've finished 2/3 of it, all as neat.
Okay. Yeah, so that goes to show that.
And when I say neat, I probably have had a couple pours of it where I have put the dehydrated orange slice in there and then poured some on there. So when I say neat, I'm talking about there's no ice in the glass. It's just a little bit. I'm not putting simple syrup or any kind of a syrup of any kind.
Yeah.
No lemon juice, no nothing. But occasionally with my neat. Those dehydrated orange slices they're fantastic, and they're so simple.
And they're subtle.
Yeah, it's a wafer of citric flavor.
Right, it is.
You can throw one of those in the bottom of your glass and just put a little bit of a pour on top of it, and then as you sit there and sip on it, it rehydrates a little bit of those citric flavors that kind of mix with there.
And it doesn't hit you with that expected hit of a citrus oil that you would get off a rind from like an old fashioned, because they'll twist it a little bit and drop it in there. You don't get that with the orange slices that you have. Where'd you get them? Amazon. And the first time we had those was at West Bottoms Whiskey Company. It was the first time I think I'd seen them.
Yeah, I forget what the brand is, but there's a brand I found on Amazon. They've got the orange, lemon, lime, blood orange slices, and they come in a Ziploc style bag that has like 200 slices in there for like $16.
Huh. You said blood orange, and maybe in place of bitters. Like blood orange for me is it's very bitter. It's very grapefruity. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of grapefruit, but as an ingredient, maybe the dehydrated blood orange would be perfect in something like this. I know presentation-wise, they're really fun to look at.
Oh yeah,
they look like an orange.
I love blood orange.
They're just red as a bleeding heart in the middle. So presentation-wise, that might look stunning.
I've got a canister upstairs.
Oh, do you really?
Of the blood orange, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They're really good.
You make an old fashioned with this Noble Oak Double Oak bourbon whiskey with a blood orange, one of your round ice cubes. Sure. I would suggest square heavy bottom cocktail glass, and one of your barrel aged cherries in there.
Bada bing.
Bada bing. I think that would be a very unique and interesting old fashioned. So in the future, I want to try that.
Let's revisit it.
Absolutely.
Let's put a mark in there, and we'll come back to that.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
I think this was a great addition to our tastings.
Absolutely was. It's a definite winner in my book for sure. And you'll be able to find this and many others, everything that we have tasted previously, and probably some that we haven't announced yet, and as an episode in the liquor cabinet section on savortheburn.com. Definitely go to that website and check us out there. There's lots of information and things there. So definitely stay tuned to savortheburn.com. You can listen to us on all podcast apps, including but not limited to Spotify, Audible, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, Google, Samsung, and many more. You can find us on these socials, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search us, Savor the Burn, or at Savor the Burn. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email us, info@savortheburn.com. You can email me personally, Jonathan at savortheburn.com. And you can email Mr. Wayne Wilkes, W2 at savortheburn.com. And as always, dear listener, keep on burning.